The Buffalo Bills host the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday in the divisional playoffs. Chris Lovitt and I discuss the matchup and give our prediction. Check out my other prediction videos for the rest of the divisional playoff games on my channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NFL videos. We have the Buffalo Bills against the Baltimore Ravens. This one is going to be a game I really look forward to seeing because you have two of the youngest quarterbacks in the league, two of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, both that can run the ball pretty well, that are very, like, Lamar Jackson is very elusive and Josh Allen is just, he can truck over defenders. And after Lamar Jackson's first ever playoff win against the Titans, where he really impressed me with some of his decision making. Obviously, early on, he had that bad throw, which led to interception. But after that, he really was a decisive factor in how the Ravens managed to beat the Titans. So it's going to be a great matchup between two young quarterbacks.
And both of those quarterbacks should come out, full of confidence. Both of them got their first win last week. I know obviously everyone was kind of, really, hot on Lamar and, can he win a playoff game? Well, turns out both of them can. Both played brilliantly as well. What both of them did running with and scrambling was fantastic. Obviously Lamar had that big long touchdown run, and Allen ran for a touchdown as well. But yeah, this is a really, really intriguing matchup, and you would probably expect a similar game in the way that both of them should try and run the ball, kind of the way we thought would happen last week with the Ravens and the Titans. And obviously the Titans just could not get the ball going. Could not get the run game going against this Baltimore defense. And I'm interested to see how the Bills kind of approach this, because the Bills, I mean, if you take out Josh Allen's scrambling, the Bills really didn't, make much ground in the run game against the Colts. Their whole run game was pretty much just Josh Allen. And we know the Colts are very good against the run. But yeah, I think that could be the key to the game, whether the Bills can establish any sort of run game.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens' run defense is actually better than advertised. I mean, they kept Derrick Henry to very little yards, and they didn't allow him to really get going. And like you said before, the Bills had troubles running the ball against the Colts. So I think they will find it even harder to run against that great Ravens front with Derek Wolfe or Calais Campbell and Matt Judon. So that's going to be very tough. But then you have, obviously, in Stefon Diggs, one of the best, like the leading receiver all season in the NFL. So that's also going to be a great matchup to see him against Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey, to see kind of if one of the two guys is going to shadow him or if they're just going to keep to their side. And I mean, they're both very capable cornerbacks. So that's going to be interesting. Then maybe Cole Beasley is going to be even more important than he was against the Colts. But that's another question mark, maybe, to see if he's fully fit, because he had some injury problems. I think it was some ankle problems against the Colts. So yeah, he needs to step up if the Bills cannot get the run game going, and if Diggs is kind of shut down and well guarded by Peters and Humphrey.
Yeah, and Humphrey was a bit exposed, I would say, early against the Titans and AJ Brown. I know obviously AJ Brown's a fantastic receiver. Physically he's a beast. But yeah, if I was Stefon Diggs, I would be looking at that like, pretty good for him and for the rest of the Bills receivers. This game is probably going to come down to Josh Allen's arm and if he can consistently throw the ball accurately down the field, which this season, he's done very well, and that's why he's been in the MVP conversation for most of this season. And I think what we'll also see this game will be a battle of pretty good coordinators and coaches on both sides. I would probably expect Brian Daboll to, scheme up a lot of quarterback run and, kind of deep / intermediate throws for Josh Allen. And pretty much almost the same with the Ravens. You know, you'd probably expect to see Lamar running the ball a lot, and yeah, just leaning on their run game, which I think is probably a pretty good bet against this Bills defense, because I think they're a bit better than advertised as well.
Yeah, that's true. But even though I think they struggled a bit against the Colts running game. Like Jonathan Taylor, he rushed for a lot of yards early on against the Bills. So I think that's maybe a point where the Ravens could expose the Bills defense. But the secondary is definitely like better than you would think, and they're kind of underrated. But in the end, I think it's just going to come down to which quarterback can play more consistently and just limit the errors. And I think Josh Allen has just proven all season long that he's just extremely confident right now, extremely hot, and just he can just make any throw and just extend the plays. So I think it's going to be a very tight game. But because of Josh Allen, I think the Bills are going to come out on top, maybe by like a 3-point difference or like very close. But I think the Bills are going to win by like 3 points. That's my prediction.
I would say I think the Ravens are going to take this one, and yeah, I also think it'll be a very close game. And the reason I'm going for the Ravens is I think they can almost shut down the Bills' run game. And if you're Greg Roman, you know, you saw how the Ravens started off the game against the Titans, where they asked Lamar to do a lot of things that he's not really comfortable with. You already mentioned, you know, the bad throw that got intercepted. I think if you're Greg Roman, you just come out and you just say, let Lamar be Lamar. Like, let him do what he's good at. Let him scramble around, extend plays. And I think if they do that, then I do think they've got enough to win this game. I am going to go the same prediction as you, 3 points, but I'm going to go for the Ravens.